James Tobin was a great scholar who cared about advancing the public good, making a difference in people's lives. I was lucky enough to have him as a teacher. One of the things that he used to express a lot of frustration about and even lament was, he said, too many social scientists, too many great scholars are spending their time trying to fill little gaps in the literature and find their little niche in the literature rather than trying to address really, truly important problems in the world. Years later, after I was sort of settled in my role as a professor, I started to think, is it possible to create an organization that would begin to live up to his aspiration, would begin to try to move research in the right direction? That was really the inspiration for the whole effort. What we've found is if you identify a great question or a problem, you can inspire people to do new research. So we spend a lot of time trying to figure out what is the right question to ask that will do two things. That'll address an important problem in the world and simultaneously will excite the best scholars in the country to get involved and engage with it. To build a community of scholars across disciplines. We often bring in policymakers to engage with them as well. We've tried to think about a number of different areas, and we've been particularly focused on the issue of regulation. What are the conditions under which it succeeds or fails? We also have a great initiative and a great effort on national security and trying to think about how do we ensure a strong national security in the United States, and how do we make sure that we're using both military and non-military tools, and how do we also make sure that we're doing it in a cost-conscious way. Also on the issue of inequalities, the health of the democracy. Those are some of the areas that we've been working on. They're exciting. We're having a good time with them.
I've learned a tremendous amount through my involvement with the Tobin Project, the meetings, the conferences, the seminars, people who come from economics, from history, from public policy. And this has really enriched my work as a scholar.
I've just loved the people that I've been able to connect with through Tobin. It's wonderful to talk among economists, and that's what I do 95% of the time. But it's also incredibly valuable to have a group like Tobin who's bringing people from different perspectives, all interested in the same issue. You don't get that in a lot of other places.
The interactions with policymakers have really given me a sense of the way in which academic scholarship can make a difference beyond the walls of the academy.
What we're trying to do is inform the policymaker over the long term. Can we encourage great research that will be able to inform policy over the longer term? And what we've learned is that if you focus on that long-term perspective, you actually get some of the short-term byproducts that come out at the same time. We're extremely excited about the MacArthur Award. It's going to allow us to build and strengthen the organization in a number of ways. We're going to build a reserve fund to try to ensure the financial stability, the strength of the organization over time. Back when we started this organization, it was all about running experiments, trying to figure out what would work and what didn't work to try to move toward our mission. What the MacArthur Award allows us to do is build this experimentation fund so that we can start running some new experiments and start trying to figure out how can we strengthen the model. Our hope is that this basic aspiration of Jim Tobin won't just be in the walls of the Tobin Project, but that in a sense it'll animate research more broadly.